And the reason I say that, because who are the candidates? It's Boston, it's Toronto, or it's Washington. And as insanely out of his mind as Isaiah Thomas is playing right now, and he's on a good team with an excellent coach, I mean, fourth quarter scoring on top of everything else, the fact of the matter is this. What it usually comes down to in the NBA usually is, of the good teams, who has the best player, who has the most special player. And when you look at the likely candidates to actually get there, apologies to Lowry and DeRozan and all those guys, and Isaiah Thomas, all those guys, the most special player in the East on a good team is John Wall. And I think that if he starts to truly realize his potential, which I think, especially the way Porter's shooting the ball and Beal's fearlessness and Gortat in the middle, I think this Washington team is likely to get past the other, either it's the Celtics or the Raptors, because in the moment of truth in the NBA, among good teams, between good teams, the best player usually wins. And I believe of all the non-Cavs in the East, that's John Wall.
Couple of things, few things that need to be said here. Number one, Scott Brooks is doing an outstanding job. Ernie Grunfeld is doing an outstanding job because he hired Scott Brooks. The Washington Wizards were 7-13 to start the season. Over the last 31 games, they are 23-8. That's their record. If the Washington Wizards hold on, if they avoid the 4th seed or the 5th seed, which means they won't have to play the Cavs until the conference finals, let me put everybody on notice in the NBA and Chocolate City in particular. The Washington Wizards are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. John Wall is spectacular. And here's why I say this. The numbers speak to you in terms of 23-10 and all of this other stuff. Molly, Max, he plays on both ends of the floor. First quarter, fourth quarter, wall to wall. He shows up on both ends of the floor. Dudes don't want him defending them. Bad enough he's lightning fast with the ball. Bad enough he's big enough and aggressive enough to get to the hole. He will attack you defensively. He's not going to get punked. That's a very big deal. Bradley Beal, are you ready for this, Max? My modern-day Allen Houston. This brother's got a smooth stroke. He can put it up. His numbers get better in the postseason. The problem with Beal, he don't show up every night during the regular season. But during the postseason, there. Otto Porter has come out of nowhere. Shooting the lights out. I mean, Otto Porter has been special. This dude, let me look at his number right here. 53% from the field. 46% from three-point range, 46.7% from three-point range.
What did he shoot last year from three? Like
I don't have the number in front of me. Markieff Morris, Martin Gortat, these guys, it's good. I'm not sure about their depth, even though I like Oubre and Thornton and these boys. But in the end, and not only that, with Wall, with Beal, and more importantly, with that fan base, which is special. I am here right now to tell the basketball world I'm looking forward to the Cleveland Cavaliers against the Washington Wizards in the Eastern Conference Finals. If they stay at a 2 or 3 seed, they can't be at the 4th or 5th seed.
In order to do that,
there has to be the 2 or the 3 seed.
In order to do that, like John Wall, as I said, is differently talented than any other player who's not on the Cavs in the East on a good team, right? Like, yeah, Porzingis is different, Embiid, but especially of the guards. When you look at the good teams, he's the most talented player. I like his team. Here's what I'm looking for John Wall to join the Westbrook, Harden kind of level of point guard. He needs to be consistent in second half of games and in the second half of the season. And if he does that, he will be mentioned. He's already sometimes mentioned in that category, but he will be mentioned much more consistently, and he won't be overlooked as much. If he can do that, they will make the Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you something right now. You can say that. I'm just looking at the fact that John Wall's got that kind of heart, and he's the kind of person that can galvanize a team. And this is the type of team that can be galvanized by a city. And if a city is galvanized by anything, meaning Chocolate City, the nation's capital, it's going to be at the thought, the specter of going up against LeBron James for a right to get to the NBA Finals. I have gotten to a point where I am convinced that the Washington Wizards are going to the conference finals.
Okay, here's my question, though.
Yes.
Can they beat the Cavs?
No. No.
Don't be ridiculous.
No, because you know why? Here's why. Here's why. Because LeBron is not just too gifted, but his stature is so supreme that when it gets tight, not only can he close the deal, but he's going to get the benefit of calls. Playoff basketball slows down. It becomes a bit more physical, and there are some on Washington who can handle it, but most of them are entirely too new to it. That will not work to their advantage,
One last thing.
and that is the reason.
One last thing. If it seems like LeBron gets a lot of lucky breaks, the ball happens to wind up in Ray Allen's hands, and if not for that Allen shot, whatever, it's not just because of calls. Michael Jordan teams, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird teams, Kobe Bryant teams, LeBron James teams. The role players seem to come up big in big moments, not only because they're good, but because there is so much attention placed on the star. Because the star is so great, you're always in a position to win the game at the end.
I'll close it out this way. The Washington Wizards and the Cleveland Cavaliers will go a minimum of 6 games, possibly 7, if Washington holds up its end of the bargain and gets to the conference
finals. But the Cavs are certainly
based on the seeding,
yes,
of course,
but I'm telling you, they're going to make it interesting because the Cavs take moments off.
Washington's got to get there first. I mean, Boston and Toronto, I like them, but that's
Boston will be very interesting,
Yep.
more so than Toronto, even though Dwayne Casey's a hell of a coach. Washington's going to the conference finals.
Let's stay with the subject of stars. Perfect segue, Max. Many believe Brady cemented himself as the GOAT this weekend, while LeBron is on his way to becoming the GOAT. But which